Okay, so get ready, because today we are diving deep into something really interesting, something you might not think about too much, but it's a fascinating connection, really, between Gothic literature and queer themes.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, so think like spooky stories, crumbling mansions, those old creepy houses,
Right, right.
mysterious figures hiding in the shadows, and like a ton of supernatural stuff. Now,
Okay, I'm with you.
you might be surprised to hear that these elements, they actually can tell us a lot about LGBTQ plus experiences,
Discussion.
especially when you think about it. Those themes of hidden desires and otherness and transgression, like those ideas are really central to the whole Gothic thing.
That's so true. And it's amazing how the Gothic genre, with its focus on what's like hidden beneath the surface,
Yeah.
really reflects the lives, the experiences of a lot of LGBTQ plus people throughout history.
Yeah.
Especially, back when society was really pushing those identities down, like into the shadow. The Gothic, it gave them a space to explore those ideas, often through like subtext and allegories.
So reading between the lines, right?
Exactly.
Like, can you give us an example of how authors did this, like explored these themes without actually coming right out and saying it?
Oh, absolutely. So let's take a look at Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla. Now, this is a vampire story. It was published way back in 1872.
Wow.
And it's all about this intense relationship between these two women, Carmilla and Laura. Now, Le Fanu never actually says, like, hey, this is a romantic relationship, but the subtext, oh, it is so there, especially when he's describing those really intimate moments between them
Huh?
and Laura's, like, growing fascination with the mysterious Carmilla.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you see these, like, coded expressions of desire, right, all kind of shrouded in that Gothic atmosphere of mystery and longing for the forbidden. This is how authors were able to talk about these themes without getting in trouble with, censors and all of society's rules back then.
It's wild that a story from like over 150 years ago.
I know, right? Can still, like, speak to us today.
Totally.
Like, why do you think that is?
Because it's tapping into something we all experience.
Yeah.
Desire and longing and that fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
These are like timeless human experiences, right?
Mhm.
They go beyond any specific time period or social setting.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Gothic, the way it explores what's forbidden, the monstrous, it often mirrors the fear and rejection that many LGBTQ plus individuals have faced, especially, in societies where just being who they are was seen as unacceptable.
It's like a reminder that these societal pressures, they can really force people to hide their true selves.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
can have like really serious consequences. And speaking of societal pressures, it makes me think of Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, absolutely. Dorian, that's a perfect example of how the Gothic shows us those anxieties around sexuality,
Yeah.
especially back in Victorian times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dorian, he's so desperate to keep up this like respectable front while he's secretly indulging in his desires, but it all leads to his downfall in the end.
This fear of being exposed, and what might happen if you live outside society's norms. These are huge themes in Gothic literature, and, they mirror the historical experiences of a lot of LGBTQ plus people.
It's interesting, though, how these themes, they connect with people who might not even identify as LGBTQ+.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it speaks to the power of the Gothic genre to get at those like universal fears and desires that we all have, right? We all have secrets. We all have things we keep hidden.
Right.
And the Gothic, it lets us confront those darker parts of ourselves in a safe way, through fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
And for LGBTQ plus readers specifically, these stories offer a kind of recognition. They see their own experiences mirrored in the literature, even if it's hidden behind metaphors and allegory.
That's a really good point. But you mentioned earlier how modern Gothic literature, it's like brought these themes even more out in the open.
Exactly.
Tell me more about that.
So contemporary Gothic writers, they're not limited to subtext anymore. They're exploring queer identities and experiences directly. A great example is Emily M. Danforth's Plain Bad Heroines. It's set in this girls' boarding school with like a really dark Gothic past.
Oh, cool.
And it weaves together all these different timelines and stories, but they all revolve around queer characters and their struggles with what society expects of them.
So how does Danforth use those like classic Gothic elements
Yeah.
to tell a modern queer story?
Well, the boarding school setting itself, that's a classic Gothic trope, right? It represents this like closed off space where secrets and desires are just bubbling under the surface.
Oh, yeah.
And Danforth, she uses that so well to explore themes of repression and societal judgment and how the past can, like haunt the present.
It's amazing how the Gothic genre, it keeps changing and evolving, and it gives us this space to look at the forces that try to control people who don't fit the mold, both in the past and now.
Exactly. And it's a genre that really makes us question those norms, those expectations. It makes us delve into the shadows and explore what it means to be human in all its complexity.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into like this unexpected but really powerful connection between Gothic literature and queer themes.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
So here's something for you all to think about. As you explore those shadowy corners of storytelling, what other examples of Gothic literature or film can you find that might be, subtly, or maybe not so subtly, exploring these same ideas? Keep your eyes peeled for those hidden layers of meaning, and you might just be surprised by what you discover.
I think they will.
I think so too.
I think they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and that's our deep dive for today.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.